Hi, good evening everybody. Welcome to Inside the Numbers, the video on this channel that uses the board. So I've been requested a video, and I had to do an Inside the Numbers video to do this. You'll excuse the wire, guys. I charged my computer twice. The first time without the main plug plugged in, so I plugged the main plug in. The next thing I know, this plug wasn't plugged into the main plug the second time. So yeah, I'm kind of ticked off. Okay, let's look at the clip, guys. And shout out goes to Ed Kaskanet. And Ed says, he goes, "Hey brother, would you be interested in doing a video on the Buffalo Sabres from the point of view of who would be on the all-time Buffalo Sabres team? If you could select anybody that played for the Sabres to be on an all-star team made up of just Buffalo Sabres. You might end up talking more about who was left off of it than who actually made it." No, I'm going to talk, Ed, more about who made it, not who missed. I got a few also rans at the end we'll talk about. But yeah, okay, I made my list, Ed. And what I've done for this video, okay, it's actually not going to be like an all-star team. It's my all-time Sabres Stanley Cup roster, okay? That's what I'm calling it. So we will go with that. And we will start, guys, right off the top. Let me get this over here because I'm going to need it. I'm going to need the table to be able to make sure I got this right. All right, guys, here we go. Starting at center on my first line, and I'm going to break it down on lines, okay? Some of these guys didn't play together in the same era, just so you know, but I still made it that way. So I think there's no surprise there, guys. And no surprise here as well. My all-time left wing, Rick Martin. My all-time center, Gilbert Perreault. And my all-time right wing, René Robert. It's got to be the French Connection. Without a doubt, has to be our first line. And now we can talk, okay? Because that, to me, is set in stone. There's just no way around that. Now, my second center, my number 2 center, who I would have on my number 2 line if we were playing for the Stanley Cup, guys, is Pat LaFontaine. LaFontaine has to be my number 2 center. And I would have on the right side of LaFontaine, yes, I would have Alex McGillney, of course. And Dave Andreychuk. So I got on my second line, I got Andreychuk, LaFontaine, McGillney, okay? So the French Connection, and then we go with really the line in 1993, guys, that could have had three 50-goal scores, because Andreychuk, who we traded, and I'll never understand, for Grant Fuhr, and he was on a pace to maybe get 50 with Buffalo, but he wound up getting the 50 that year anyway with Toronto. Would have been the first and only line in NHL history, to the whole line, to get 50 goals. Okay, third line. I got Mike Peca as our centerman. On the right side, I got Danny Gare. And on the left side, I got Craig Ramsay. I think this would have been an amazing line with some scoring punch and a very physical line, because as we know, Danny Gare wasn't a big guy, but he was tough. And Mike Peca wasn't a big guy, but he was tough. And Ramsay was one of the greatest defensive forwards in NHL history. So this would have been fun to watch, actually, if it could have happened. Okay, our fourth line. And I'm running out of space, damn it. At center, I got Don Luce. On right, I got Mike Foligno. And on the left side, some familiar names for some of you younger folks. Thomas Vanek. I've got to move this down a bit. Damn it, damn it, damn it. I thought I had enough room. Give me a sec, guys. I just got to fix this. All right, so rounding out the forwards now, because I'm going to have 14 forwards, 7 defensemen, and I'm doing the usual, 7 defensemen, 14 forwards, 7 defensemen, 2 goalies. And of course, I'm just going to put these guys here. Call it our reserves if you want. And let me just cut off so it's easier to see. And there, rounding out the forwards, I got Danny Briere and Chris Drury, okay? And guys, you can mix it any way you want. I'm just making the lines as if I was the coach and tonight's the game. This would be my the lineup I'd do. I most likely would not have Vanek there, and I would have like Danny Briere, you know, even Luce or Danny Briere switching over, that kind of thing. But this is just kind of my picks. That rounds out the 14 forwards, okay? Now, guys, let's go with, I'll see if I can get this video in 10 minutes. I don't think I will. Now, for my first pairing of defensemen, I got Bill Height and Jim Schoenfeld. This is who I'd have. And yes, I would have these two. These would be my 2 picks. This is still my all-time favorite defenseman in Buffalo Sabres history, Bill Height. Still to this day. Schoenfeld was a beast. He was awesome. But I love Bill Height. He was like just that type of guy. You could put him out there game 7 and whatever. Any kind of scenario. He wasn't like the superstar or anything, but my God, I cannot remember this guy causing a breakaway or just, he was just so solid defensively. So good. It was just so good. I got to get a Height jersey eventually. Okay, my second pairing. And yes, these are all left shot defensemen. So you know, guys, there's no right shot guy that really, for me, cut this in our history, really. Compared to these guys, there's just no way. I'd have all these guys. And who do I have next? Right. I got Mike Ramsey and Jerry Korab. We got King Kong Korab on there for some of you that liked him. And Mike Ramsey was one of the most steady defensemen also in our history. And he was just so good. He was part of that 1980 U.S. Olympic Miracle on Ice team. And I can go on and on about all these guys, but it will be a 25-minute video, guys, and there's no way you're going to listen. So I'm talking to myself if I do that. So that will be my second pairing. And now my third pairing. You guys, I think you guys are going to like this one. This is an interesting one, actually. Actually, a very scary thought. I have on my third pairing, Phil Housley and Erasmus Dahlin. Now, for those of you that seen both these defensemen, and most of you have seen, of course, Rasmus, right? But for those of you that seen Phil Housley, isn't that a scary thought? Phil Housley and Rasmus Dahlin together? My God, give the whole league a nightmare. And rounding out my seventh defenseman, yeah, might be a little soon for some of these names, but these are who I'd pick right now. Owen Power. Owen Power rounds it out. Okay, now, in goal, guys, I don't think it's too hard to figure this one out. The only two goalies you can't really pick from, I would not pick Barrasso over any of these guys. Okay, so for those of you that are in love with Barrasso, go wear a Penguins jersey, because on the Sabres, he sucked in the playoffs. Sucked. He was terrible. He was good his rookie year, kind of. Anyway, Barrasso's numbers were awful, really. Hasek and Miller, without a doubt, are my two all-time Buffalo Sabres goalies. This will be my lineup, guys. This is my dream team of the Buffalo Sabres. It really is. Oh, and my also-rans are and Tim Connolly, Jack Eichel. Now, Jack Eichel didn't have much of an impact on this franchise. That's why he doesn't cut this squad. All these other guys, at one point or another in their careers, had an impact on this team. Jack Eichel had no impact, except how much he costed. And Tim Connolly is a forgotten Sabre, and my God, this guy, if he could have stayed healthy and he would have had a good noodle and didn't get all the concussion issues, what could have been. And we've seen this guy come into his own in that 2006 run. We'll never forget what he did to the final seconds, remember, in Ottawa, you know, and the way he turned Philadelphia inside out in the first round. And oh my goodness, I can go on and on about Tim Connolly. He was leading the league in scoring in the playoffs that year. And the minute he went down and Schaefer gave him that dirty hit, it was still a dirty hit. The minute he went down, I kind of had a bad feeling the Sabres weren't going to win the Stanley Cup that year, the minute that happened. Because for me, it didn't make any sense he wasn't part of it on the ice if we were going to win the Cup. Because this, folks, not Danny Briere, this was the heart and soul of that team in 2006. And if he would have stayed healthy, there's not a living way in hell, okay, that Carolina would have beat us. There's just no way. The way he was going, he was killing teams with his two black eyes, and he was out there doing it all. Breaks my heart to think about it, guys. It does. All right, 1 done, 3 to go. I'll see you in the next video.